One of the possible and main reasons for the absence of the Princess of Wales is sometimes called not a simple and complex relationship with Camilla. There is an opinion that, having reached the very top in the English hierarchy, Camilla began to very actively push away everyone who could somehow overshadow her. She set herself the goal that no one could tell her anything, and especially not order her. It used to be that they pointed her to a place and told her how to do it, but now she herself prefers to take the lead in many matters. Queen Camilla's revenge is not an uncommon point of view. Let's look into this issue, and that's why. As you know, a 70-year-old woman will always lose to a younger woman, or rather a 40-year-old woman. This happens in most cases. Kate has not only youth on her side, but also an impeccable reputation, which she earned through her impeccable behavior in society and received popular love and recognition from the most ordinary people. Kate is loved by many people from different countries and continents. She did not have a stormy youth, scandalous relationships, divorce, and the position of third wheel in someone else's marriage. And all this is precisely in Camilla's track record. And immediately, a comparison arises between Kate and Camilla. In the 70s of the last century, the royal family did not want to even entertain the thought of Miss Shand joining their circle of honor, although Camilla was and is an aristocrat. Moreover, her great-grandmother was the lover of King Edward VII. The woman's name was Alice Keppel. At that time, the emperor drew a clear and understandable line between his family and the lady of his heart. There was not even the slightest hint of the possibility of their marriage. At one time, Prince Charles, in love, had a dream, and one of his goals was to marry Camilla. Therefore, the Windsors tried to keep him away from the girl, and to some extent, they succeeded. Miss Shand became Mrs. Parker Bowles, and Charles led Diana Spencer to the altar. Did the prince then have a relationship with Mrs. Parker Bowles of any kind other than friendship? It is known that Charles often called Camilla in the early days of his marriage to Diana. It is hard to say. It is believed that the relationship with Diana was difficult and stormy, despite the birth of 2 sons. It is known that several of the prince's close friends turned to Camilla when he began to feel very homesick, and this happened around the 3rd or 4th year of his union. Let's look at this situation in more detail. Diana preferred London and its cheerful, interesting social world. In turn, Charles often went to the Highgrove country estate, where he enjoyed gardening and walking. So what can we think? Meanwhile, Camilla lived nearby. Diana said about Camilla that she had a death grip on the prince. Diana and Charles then lived parallel lives. We already know and understand how it all ended. Diana uttered the famous phrase, "There were 3 of us in this marriage." Camilla was the most unpopular person in the Kingdom of England. After the divorce of Charles from Diana and Camilla from her husband, and after that most famous, unfortunately, story in the Paris tunnel, Camilla did not appear in public for a long time. It is assumed that she had enough common sense and patience to not appear in public and sit out for a while. Even if it didn't take long, it became obvious that Charles still loves Camilla and plans to continue his life next to her. There was no talk of marriage. At that time, the Queen herself put off this possibility. Slowly, step by step, slowly and gradually, with the help of various assistants and her PR people, Camilla began to appear on the pages of newspapers, thus forcing the public and society to get used to it, read news about it, and short notes from current activities. And Camilla did it all. Surrendering under the onslaught of the information cloud, over time she was allowed to marry the prince. And now, from her point of view, she was finally a queen. If you open any British tabloid now and find news, they will write about Camilla with admiration. But it is believed that Camilla has been an outcast for too long. She was not perceived as she should be. For years it was pointed out to her that she was not the prince's wife and could not sit next to him at the same table at public events. This happened at the wedding of Lady Tamara Grosvenor, where the entire royal family was invited. As a result, Charles said he was busy and did not come, and Camilla, in turn, rejected the invitation. When Camilla married the prince and became the Duchess of Cornwall, it was she who began to put pressure, one might even say, simply hissed at Meghan Markle, who happened to be next to her, but according to etiquette, should have gone after. Prince Harry freely compared Camilla to the wicked stepmother from a fairy tale in his memoirs, The Spare One. As we know, when the prince flew in February 2024, alarmed by his father's condition, he was given only 12 minutes to communicate, and even then in the presence of the Queen. Further attempts to meet with Charles III were unsuccessful. Harry was deprived of his property in London, and his son was not congratulated on his birthday. This is Queen Camilla's revenge, many say confidently. Is it so? Of course, Prince Harry himself behaved very strangely. Bringing out not the best things related to your family into public space is not a good idea. But isn't the king's uncompromising behavior towards his youngest son the result of Camilla's influence? So, Carl is a wingman? Perhaps it? Women, often realizing it or not, have a great and effective influence on their husbands. This is why there is a very common belief that Kate was hidden from the public so that she would not overshadow Camilla. When the Princess of Wales appeared with her and Queen Elizabeth at events, everyone knew who was first and foremost, Elizabeth II. The respect for the Queen was too great. She had too much weight in society for Kate to outshine her. But they were not compared. This was unthinkable. But with Camilla, the situation is completely different. Maybe the current queen is driven by great jealousy, or perhaps resentment. There is no reason to believe that the Princess of Wales has in any way disadvantaged Camilla in the past. Kate officially entered the family when Camilla had already taken her place in it. Then what motivates the queen? Where does the thirst for revenge attributed to her come from? Perhaps it's just a thirst for revenge. Whatever Kate. The one that was pushed into the background got a chance to become the first, the main, the most popular. But if Camilla doesn't have any stones in her bosom, why is she so actively promoting Marquise Rose Cholmondeley everywhere? Everyone knows that this woman is extremely unpleasant to Kate. And their communication, if there is such a thing, is very cold. A few years ago, the Welsh neighbor came under suspicion that she had carried away Prince William. Until that time, Cholmondeley and the Welsh communicated, but after that they abruptly stopped, perhaps for a reason. However, the Marchioness Rose now found herself among the Queen's close confidants. It turns out very interesting. The explanation is very strange, if not funny at all. The young woman is a friend of Camilla's daughter. Is Rose the very trump card that the Queen pulled out of her sleeve to annoy the Princess of Wales once and for all? If this is so and Kate really is not feeling well, then this is an extremely cruel game. Is this really true? By all indications, this is possible. There have already been reports in the press from insiders that Camilla has repeatedly tried to insert a wedge between William and Kate. How true this is a big question, but of course, there is some probability. However, the current situation in the royal family is increasingly reminiscent of a good old English detective story. With a mysterious disappearance, many nuances in the relationship between representatives of the same family. Unfortunately, we have neither Sherlock Holmes nor Hercule Poirot at our disposal to unravel this tangle. All we have to do is monitor the situation, analyze what is happening, and believe in the best despite all the difficult situations. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Let's continue the discussion in the comments to this video.